So if everyone's good, we'll get started. Thank y'all for participating this year in our student video contest. I know Angela's group did a great job last year. Rachel's group did a great job. So thank y'all again for doing it this year. I don't know if the kids are currently in class with you right now. If they are, tell them hello. Thank you for participating as well. I know, Rachel, you have signed up a number of your teams, and we'll get into that, but that's good. So thank you for participating this year in the student video contest. You know, the whole goal of this was to help educating. Okay, great. Her class is here and watching. So kids at TISD, welcome.
My students are here too. All of mine are.
Oh, right. We got a whole bunch of kids. That's terrific. So for everybody that's at All Saints and TISD, thank you for participating this year. The video contest is a very basic concept, and it's to help students understand about the business marketplace. Because one day if you're not already, you're going to be consumers. You're going to be buying things, you're going to be selling things, you're going to be in business for yourself, etc. And so this was a way to help educate about what BBB does, but then use the skills that you're learning in school for production, video editing, etc. I got to tell you guys, I've seen some of y'all set up. I worked in television for a number of years. The equipment you guys are using, guys and gals are using, is on par with, if not better than, what most television stations are using currently. So you guys have got it really good in terms of access to equipment and knowledge. So I encourage you to take advantage of it. So we're here to talk about the contest and answer any questions you might have. Let's see if we can move the slide. Did that slide change for you? Did it change for everybody?
Yes, it changed.
Great. Hey, I'm just me in the Zoom. So we are focused on educating the students. I kind of went over that briefly. In terms of some actual logistics of the contest, come on, there we go. If you ever have any questions about it, Kevin has done a great job with our vendor on building the website. It's bbbvideocontest.org/Tyler. So you can go and you can look, you can read about the other schools that are participating, the contest information, timeline of events, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think most everybody is familiar with the site. This is where all of the videos will be updated, what videos will be uploaded to, and all of the voting will take place. So just remember this site. This is the hub, the home, and Kevin and our vendor have done a great job keeping this updated correctly. When we notice mistakes, we try to get them corrected, updated correctly. So a timeline of events, and this timeline has kind of shifted in the last, let's see, 2 weeks because of all of the snow carnage, honestly. And so we went ahead and shifted the timelines. Technically, the contest has already begun. You can start editing, you can start producing, you can start doing all of that stuff right now. The key date is the little blue icon, the little blue circle. Wednesday, March 24, that's exactly 3 weeks from today, the submissions are due. This is where you'll need to go online and upload on or before Wednesday, March 24th to the website. You'll have a little upload portal in there, just like it was last year. The voting then will begin on Wednesday, March 31st. This gives 1 week for the vendor to process the videos, to get them uploaded, to get any pre-roll uploaded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then voting will last for 2 weeks and will go to April 14th. I believe that's actually Wednesday, April 14th. I got it is Wednesday. Thank you, Kevin. And so either way, the date is the important part, April 14th. So you have 2 weeks to vote on the online portion. And this is where you and the students and the school or whatever can help promote, push the voting for your kids to win. And then as I move my screen, and then the winners will be announced and featured during the Awards for Excellence, which is actually broadcast this year on KLTV. We have a partnership with KLTV. We're going to broadcast it, do it just like an award show. Welcome to the 2021 BBB Awards for Excellence. So we're going to broadcast it this year as if it were an award show, and the winners will be featured during this segment. We're still on a date back and forth on the 25th of the 2nd, so it will be in the spring, but it's about it's going to be one of those 2 weekends. But this is the timeline of importance, the stuff that will be ultimately what we go on. Again, technically we have begun, but any day between now and before March 24th, you will need to have the videos uploaded. So Miss Rachel asked, will you be sending out a social media graphic we can share for voting? Yes. Yeah, as soon as voting begins, so on the 31st, right, the next day on April 1st or whatever, we will start the promotion of the voting and pushing out alerts to people. Hey, go vote, go vote, go vote, vote for your favorite school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So whoever manages your social medias at the school, give them a heads up, because we will tag all the schools, All Saints, TISD, CTC, blah, 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 whoever else is on there. We will be tagging all the schools. So fire up the social media folks and get them involved. Oh, that's really good. Okay, so if we have any questions, if we don't have any questions about the timeline, move along. Contest rules. And these are more of just the logistics of the actual video and the teams. Nothing has changed from last year. You were two of the participating schools from last year, so nothing has changed. Obviously, a team must be approved by the teacher. That makes sense. You've got to register on the website. Ms. Jones, I know that you've registered a number of teams already on the website, which is great. Teams can be either 1 to 4, so you can have a group or all individuals. They do all have to go to the same school, so no All Saints flirting with Grace here. You know, none of that. None of that, none of that. They can be from different grades, which is great. We want them to work together. And 1 student, 1 team, right? So we don't want Billy in a team by himself and then in 3 other teams. I think that's pretty straightforward. If you go to the website, it'll say register your team, and you'll have the ability to do that. It'll be very straightforward. The video, 1 video per team, submitted to the contest website. If at all possible, do not use any copyrighted or registered trademark material that's in music and images. We didn't have a problem with that last year, but it is our due diligence to say that again this year. In terms of the video format, 60 seconds or less, so 1 minute or less. Minimum resolution 1280 by 1080, but those are all pretty standard presets. If you're working out of like Adobe Premiere like we do here at the office, that's an easy preset. Most cameras already shoot in the appropriate resolutions and formatting. So that was not an issue last year. I wouldn't expect it to be an issue this year. And it can be one of 2 formats, either a .mov, so QuickTime, or an MP4, just a regular good old-fashioned MP4. Again, if your most editing software, whether it's Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere, Avid, or any of that you might be using, these are all presets. You can just set it and forget it and move forward from there. The video contest guidelines, pretty straightforward. It must feature the described theme, which we will be getting into in just a second. It must have a call to action to go to BBB. The whole point of this is to educate people to go to BBB to do something, right? Go to look up a business, go to check out a scam, go to look at advertising, etc. So there has to be a call to action. Any advertisement you ever see on television has a call to action. And so this must be your call to action. Go to bbb.org. And it must feature the logo, which I will be sending out to your teachers as soon as we hang up here. I will send you the still image logo, which will be easy enough for you to insert into your video no matter where you want it. So do we have any questions on just kind of the generic rules on the contest guideline?
Coleman, I have a question about the BBB's, I guess, official tagline. Is the official tagline "Start with Trust," or was that just last year?
No, okay, so the official actual branded trademark, and Kevin can jump in here if I'm saying it incorrectly, is actually "Start with Trust." That is the universal tagline, trademark line of BBB is "Start with Trust." It just so happened that the theme last year was "Start with Trust," but the actual any images we put up, any graphics we put online, the seal comes with "Start with Trust." That is the trademark of BBB. So by all means, use that verbiage in your videos, because that's the whole point, is to teach people about trustworthiness within the business community. So
I don't want to jump the gun.
Good question. You get up.
I don't want to jump the gun. Are you about to talk about the theme?
Yeah. We're going to do the theme, and I know you're on a semi-time sensitive, so I will make sure to go. So yeah, so here's the video guidelines. Judging, people have asked how the judging happens. Well, here it is. I'm not a math major, but it adds up to 100%. There's 4 different areas: production quality, creativity, votes, and representation of the theme. I keep looking over here. I'm sorry, the camera's here. Marketing and votes is pretty straightforward. He or she who gets the most online votes, they get 25%, or that goes towards their score. The others are judged by a panel. We have a panel. It's part of our board of directors and some committee members that we have here. As part of BBB, they are business owners, they are entrepreneurs. They will watch the videos without ever seeing them before. They will watch them blind, and they will critique them and give them a score. And then we will tally up all the scores. Best score wins. Second score gets second. Third score gets third. So you can gain a lot of points by being a great shooter and a great editor, but you may lose a lot of points if it was totally irrelevant to the subject. So you got to find that nice balance of good shooting, good editing, but good storytelling as well, and making sure it fits with the theme and the creativity of the message. Okay, any questions there? My students want to know what the prizes are. Yes, we will get to that. Yes, oh, looky here. It's the next slide. I remember when I was a kid and all I thought about was money too. So talk about prizes. Well, looky there. We just so happen to have some pictures of people who won a boatload of money last year. So Miss Angela and her group at TISD did a phenomenal job last year. They actually took home first and second. So the CTC got a combined $3,500. That went both to the school and to the winning students. So all you kids who need the new PS5 or whatever, let's go. $500 ought to get you about halfway there to get one. So first prize, you can see the school will receive money, and then the individual winners will receive money, and it goes down from first, second to third. And you can see Michelle and Miss Angela taking the picture last year, and then the young man from Spring Hill who took third last year. This was when we were still allowed to go travel and take pictures with people. But yeah, so there's the money, and the money for the school or for the students can be used for whatever you want. We will literally write a check and give it to you, but you gotta win. So I hope that satisfies their need for the dollars. Yes, it does. All right. Well, we encourage you. That's great. That's great. Okay, next one, the theme. So here's the important part. I'm not going to read this all to you because it's wordy, but the theme this year is advertise honestly. If you are going to advertise, you must avoid misleading customers, right? The second paragraph there is the most important one that we want to focus on. We do not want to mislead customers with fake impressions of sponsorship, endorsement, popularity, trustworthiness, quality, business size, through any misuse of logos, trust marks, pictures, testimonials, or by other means. If you advertise that you are going to do something, that is what you must do. It is one of the things that we hold businesses to here at BBB, that they will advertise honestly. If you say a tire change is $4.99, it better be $4.99. It's very, very simple. If you say you have the #1 stress relief candle in East Texas, you better be able to prove it. Because if not, that's a lie. Okay? As much as you want to believe it to be true. So when you drive around town, and a great example of this is like at some of the local restaurants, they'll say #1 Mexican restaurant as voted on by. They are providing proof as to where they got that advertisement from. That is what we want to see. People that can prove their advertisements and not mislead customers in any way, shape, or form. So the theme this year, advertise honestly. The website at the bottom is a dedicated website to this whole process of advertising honestly. You can look at examples. You can look at all sorts of things when it comes to advertising. So bbb.org/ad-truth. And you can learn more about our processes for advertising and what we consider to be truthful, ethical, and non-misleading advertising. So there is the theme. you can go a lot of different directions with this in terms of advertising, and for a 30 to 45-second video. So get the creative juices going. Any questions on the theme? Do we have any questions on the theme? The guys last year who won, the guys and girls last year, it was all about trust. They did some great videos about knowing how to choose a trustworthy business and how to avoid a non-trustworthy business. So this time we want to just pivot and be like, okay, advertising honestly. Are you advertising what you say, or are you keeping up to the advertising you say? Okay.
So since we've been working on ours, I think we have been struggling not to muddy the two. Like, so I guess my question is, in your opinion, how would you describe the difference between trust and honesty? Like, a business is honest, so it's trustworthy. A business is trustworthy because it's honest, etc. So how would you describe the difference?
So you're absolutely right in that there's not a ton of difference. I think specifically for advertising, we want a business to do what they say they are going to do. And advertising can be, you know, hey, we're number one. Okay, can you prove it? Or are you just making that up to mislead me into believing you're number one? That does go into trustworthy, but that also goes into is what you're advertising actually what you are providing? In this case, a lot of the problems we see is people, they're like, oh, they told me oil change would be $19.99. Well, but there's fine print that says with purchase of $400 tire rotation. So technically the business is doing exactly what they say, that it was all written, etc. I'll get to that, Angela, in just a second. So what we want is people to adhere to their advertising. If you say it's this, then this is what it is, with no ideas of misleading the consumer. Trustworthiness falls into that category. It is all together. I can't trust a business if they're not going to stick to their advertising. You know, if they tell me it's 50% off sale, it better be 50% off, not 32%. And that goes.
Or just another.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna give another example. Like, let's say you see an advertisement online for a rug that you really like. Well, it turns out it came from another country, and instead of getting a 5 by 5 feet rug, you got a 5-inch by 5-inch rug or something. Little strip, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be like an advertisement like I clipped a coupon. It could be what you sold me on the internet is not what I got. You're falsely advertising goods, and you didn't make it clear this was 5 inches. You just said 5 by 5. You know, and I didn't do my homework to make sure it was inches or feet, but you didn't tell me it was inches or feet either. So there's a little bit of give and take for both the trustworthy and the advertising part. But that's a good example from Kevin right there. Wait a minute, I didn't get what you said. Well, you know, tough cookie. Okay, Angela had a question, said, is the audience of the PSA's businesses or consumers? The way we look at it, first of all, everybody's a consumer because we all buy things. But our board, the people who are voting, they're all business owners here in the community. They're business owners, they're entrepreneurs. They work either in the for-profit industry or they're on nonprofit organizations. So if I told you the names, you would probably know a lot of them because they're fairly popular. But our board of directors is the one who will ultimately judge them, and they will judge them blind. They will not know who they're from. They will have, okay, video number 1, and they'll watch it based on the protocol. Video number 2, and they'll watch, and then they'll grade them. And at the end of the day, we'll say, okay, video 1 belonged to this person, and we'll simply do the math and see what it adds up to be combined with the online voting. So the audience is businesses. Those are the ones who will be watching. In terms of voting's for everybody, right? That can be businesses. They can simply watch and be like, I love it, click, or I hate it, and click for it anyway. So I hope that answered that question. Okay, we're almost done here. We burned through it. Here's a good link to help you learn about what BBB is all about. You go to the video contest website. There's a section that says about BBB. You can look at it. It's going to tell you. Frankly, folks, you can hit the Google. Kids, I know you're smart. I didn't grow up with the Google. Man, we had to look at an encyclopedia and one, you know, to learn stuff, you can go to the Google and type in BBB and learn all you want about it. But this site will help you as well to learn about us, to learn about what BBB provides, so that way it might get the creative juices flowing and how the theme might apply to you. So I'm not even that much older than you guys, and I didn't have Google. The last one, if you want to see the submissions from last year, which I would encourage you to do to maybe get some ideas, there's nothing wrong with looking at them from last year going, hey, I like how they did this, I did this, I did this. So you want to go to YouTube and search BBB CET. I will tell you there are 2 BBB CETs. For some reason, we have a duplicate account somehow that we can't get rid of. But you want to look for the one that's got our logo on there, BBB CET, and there's an entire playlist called 2020 Student Videos. And you can go in there, you can watch the ones that Rachel's group from All Saints did, or the TISD ones did, or the Spring Hill kid, or any of the other ones. You can go in there and watch them. If that gives you, oh, that's a great idea. I would encourage you to go watch them, or just pick a couple out and say, hey, I kind of like how they did that. I like how they did that. I like how they set that up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, by the power of Zoom, we've gotten to the questions part. If we have any amazing questions, I'll be happy to hear them. If we don't have any amazing questions, that's okay. Be happy to hear those too. Angela, type one in if you want to. Miss Jones, if any of your kids have any questions. We talked about money. That's what they wanted to know about. Oh, okay, great. Okay, so Angela, clarification on our question. So she wanted to know, like, the video message, who would it be? Who would the message be for? In our case, the video can be either way. You can be representing a business that advertises correctly. That's right. We will honor that because we're truthful and we're honest, and we advertise correctly. Or you can take it from the opposing view. Hey, this coupon said I'm entitled to 500% off. Why aren't you going to honor that? So you can come at it from either side that you want to. There is no stagnant way of saying, oh, it has to be from a business standpoint, or it has to be from a consumer standpoint. In fact, I'm thinking of a few ideas in my head from a business standpoint that would be easier to convey than as a consumer. You know, so if you're going to do it from the business standpoint, you want to represent a business that either advertises honestly, sticks to their honesty, and says, you know, I'm part of BBB, and one of the standards is that I advertise honestly. I'm going to honor this because that's what I said I would do. Or you can be a bad business and say, I'm not going to honor that. You didn't read it. Bleh. I'm just going to be a total, you know, myth. Or you can go from the consumer standpoint and say, a business said they would do this. They have not. I should have done my homework, or I should report them, or I should have checked, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's no only this or only this. It can be on a scale of either business or consumer. Me personally sitting here, I think it might be easier to do it from a business standpoint, simply because of the kind of the way that I'm thinking I would do a video. I think a trustworthy and honest business might be a little bit easier to portray for this particular theme, as opposed to a disgruntled consumer. But I say that, and some of the best videos we had last year were more disgruntled consumers. So, okay, we got Miss Rachel. Do you have any questions? No, shaking of the head. No. Okay.
Sorry, I lost the mute button. No, we're okay. Thank you.
Great. So what I would recommend is, I know Rachel has got her teams. If she's got any more teams to register, go ahead and register them. If not, then she's good to go. Miss Angela, I would divide out your kids depending on if they want to do them in groups. Here's how the economy works though, kids. If you work in partners, you got to split the money. You'll learn this when you get married, and she takes all of it and you get left with none of it. This is how economics work. That's a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. But yeah, so if you do a team of 4 and you win, you do have to split the money. So keep that in mind for all of our little young entrepreneurs out there. If you want to keep all the cash, you'd be a solo team. If not, make sure you partner up. Make sure the teams are, we know who's in each team. So if it's Billy and Timmy, we know they're in one team. And if it's Tammy and Joni, we know they're a team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I would recommend you get your teams broken up and registered, and let's get going. Got a thumbs up from Miss Rachel. Great. Miss Angela, you got a thumbs up. Of course, y'all have my cell phone number. I believe both of y'all have my cell phone number and the office number and my email. Anytime you have a question, please let me know. Great. All right, kids, we're going to stop this. Happy editing. And I look forward to seeing everybody's production, and I can't wait to give out some cash to everybody.